Hi, I'm John and welcome to my Lair of Action Figures. Today I'm going to be reviewing a Hot Toy figure. So while this box is giving a little spin so you can enjoy the box, I'm going to be telling you a bit history about this figure, and I'm going to be telling you some details on this figure. So this is of course Kit Fisto, and if you have purchased him via Hot Toys, you will know him as MMS 751, and if you went through Sideshow, you would know him as 904, 939 as a number. So this figure came out this year in 2025. It's on waiting list, so if you missed out, you'll be able to get it. It was $275. This does not include shipping, nor the taxes that I will have to pay. Now, something very interesting was done. I had to pay some extra fees, around 10 Swiss francs, for the tariffs. So yes, that was a bit annoying because I didn't see it, and I saw the figure was on wait list, and I got it as such. Now, while, like I said, while this figure is giving a spin and we're going to let it come full forward, I'm going to be talking a bit history of this character. So Kit Fisto appeared in the second movie. You can see him, of course, this is Attack of the Clones, so if I'm not mistaken, and you see him on the Battle of Geonosia when they go and rescue Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme. So he force pushes a droid, knocking him over, the one who has C-3PO's head on it, and afterwards he appears also in the movie, the third one, Revenge of the Sith, and he's one of the Jedis who gets killed pretty lamely, I must admit, when they try to arrest the Chancellor. You blink, you might not even see him die at that moment, it goes so fast. The only one who survives is, of course, our friend Mace Windu. So yeah, it is a figure that also is interesting because it appeared in the Clone Wars, and that was one of the reasons why I decided to go for this figure. So let's have a closer look at what we get in this box. So let's start the unboxing of this figure. Of course, Hot Toys always has some pretty nice boxes over here. So you have a little diorama with some clone troopers behind and Kit Fisto in full action. So let's remove all of this, and of course here we have our General Kit Fisto from the Grand Army of the Republic. Let's pull this out, we won't be needing this over here. So of course we do have the manual over here with something that I like to keep and put into a special envelope to keep it, so I know which figure is which. So let's remove it and let's start by having a closer look at this over here. Because it is always important to read the manual before you do anything else. So let's open it. Oh, that's kind of cool. So over here we have the whole explanation about Kit Fisto, how you can move his neck. So you have to be careful. Looks like it over here. Okay, you can see there's some movement over here. You have the different hands. You have the hilt that goes on with the little parts. You have the different little blades over here. And over here they explain you how to put the arm guards on front and how to put his cape on. Something very interesting for now. I never used this one over here, and it's the first figure that I'm opening who has the USB-C system for the light up. So yeah, they also explain you how to pass the cable, how to do to make it look a bit better on him. So yeah, this is something of interesting to see the different ways that you can clip it to the belt, or if you want to clip it to the stand. It does make sense a lot. So yeah, that's going to be very helpful because this is the first time I'm seeing it. For the rest of the figure, I'm going to be unboxing it, and we'll be taking out the bits and pieces, and then afterwards we're going to have a closer look at the details of what we get in the box. So of course, here we go. Removing all of this. As we can see, we have some hands over here who are interesting enough to have these over here, who are the ones with the for the Clone Wars, with the arm guards over here, who are pretty cool. That's nice to have. Over here we have the box. So this is going to be a premiere for me. Over here, the 2 different attachers, some extra pegs over here, the lightsaber that goes into it, the lightsaber without the effects, and over here we have the blades, the 2 different blades over here. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Also, let's pull this figure out of here, and he is pretty massive and pretty heavy. So just let's remove all of this here. Okay, so I'm going to be pulling this off over here. Oh yeah, they really did one heck of a packaging over here. So they really don't want you to damage anything over here. So let's pull this off, put all of this in here. I'm going to be removing this also, and let's have a closer look over here at the stand. And of course we do have the stand over here, and I'm going to flip the box over and have everything inside. And of course we have the cape who's behind the box. So I'm going to remove this over here. So we have everything over here. So, just moving this, and now let's have a closer look at the figure itself. So, So, as you can see, it does have a pretty nice head sculpt for some Hot Toys. I do have the one from Sideshow, but due to the fact I'm a huge fan of Clone Wars and that he has the arm guards for the figures from the Clone Wars and Sideshow didn't. So yeah, this figure is pretty neat. As you can see, there's a lot of detail going around on the belt over here. Don't want to move it too much, as the manual said that you cannot move it. So they don't seem to have much movement in it. So if you want to give a bit of a dynamic pose, it's not going to be possible to move them too much. So yeah, the only ones who have a little bit of movement are the front ones, as you can see. So yeah, not going to take too much of a risk doing that. So of course we're going down to the boots over here, well, with fake leather, I believe, sadly. So that's going to be something that we really have to take into consideration, and we're going to be able to see how that's going to age also. So of course, over here we do have, going to remove this because I didn't see that there was some extra little pieces of paper over here, and this is going to give me the possibility to gear him up, to build him up as in the Clone Wars. So I don't know if this goes over it. This does seem a bit thick to push it over. I'm going to take the manual again, because I believe that does not go over there, because there's going to be a lot of tissue who's going to be exposed if I do it in that way. So of course, should have kept the manual open, silly me. So what do they say over here? So, oh no, it looks like you do go over it. Okay, that seems extremely weird. So I guess we have to fold it up a little bit and to be able to slide it in over like this. Okay, yeah, this falls a bit weird. And then afterwards you will have to remove the peg over here, and then we have to put this sword hand's going to be taken over here, so we can give him up. Oops. Okay, so this is how it looks with it on. Not the most convinced about it. Let's see, putting the other one on is going to be doing anything better. But for now, call me not that much impressed. So let's roll this up a little bit so we can get it in. Oops. So, another hand over here. Force push hand. Or relax hand, maybe. So, let's put it in. And there we are. So we have him like he is in Clone Wars, with, as you can see, the little comlink pad over there on his forearm. So yeah, this looks pretty cool, and I must say this is the only reason why I wanted to buy it, to have these little arms on it. Now let's have a look at what we get else with the figure over here. As you can see, the hands pretty well detailed. Not the best thing I have seen with weathering for a figure, so that's a bit surprising. Over here we have some more hands. So of course this kind of force push hands. Then we have one from the Clone Wars with the armor over here, and of course we have the grip hand over here. So let's have a look and put up the lightsaber over here. So of course you have this effect, and of course we're not going to be able to see much because this is pretty how can we say, not that powerful. I'm really scared putting this in over here. And over here I do have a little plug for the USB. So let's see how this works. This is going to be a first for me. So let's hope it's not broken. Hey, it then works. So this is dim. Okay, don't really see much of a difference. One's supposed to be more powerful than the other one. So yeah, I guess with all the lights on in the studio, it's going to make it pretty hard to see. So that means I will have to start turning off some lights to see if we can get a better effect around here. It doesn't get too dark afterwards. So let's cut some lights around here and let's have a look. Yeah, it's okay, nothing spectacular, if we can say as such. Let's remove it. As you can see, the light is pretty strong when you remove it, but I don't understand why for having two positions. Okay, so here it lights up a lot better than on the one that has the wave effect. As you can see, works not too bad. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this one seems a little bit more powerful than the other one, but yeah. Call me not that much impressed. And as I said, if you look over here, we're going to have a look. You can really see, I'm going to turn back on the lights, sorry about that. This is the problem when you have this kind of effects. So if you have a look over here, you can really see the pens over there, and that looks extremely fragile to clips in and out. So yeah, that would be something that really definitely I will not start playing too much of popping in and out all of this. So I guess it would be better to try to gear him up, put all this on him and try to have it strapped in the way that they say to have it done over there. So I'm going to be doing a test afterwards when I'm going to be building it up. Of course, we have the two different hooks over here. This is of course the one who comes on the back of the stand over here. So yeah, that's an idea to have it over there, or if you want, you can clip it on the belt. This comes in very easily. You push it in here. There's a pretty easy. Come in here, push it. Oops, yes, that's the way to go normally. Oh, sorry, wrong way. And then you should slide it down so it clips in place like that. Yeah. So as you can see, it comes off. Again, this is something that I would not want to play very often by clips in and out, this kind of stuff. This seems a little bit fragile and could cause some little problems about it. Now let's have a look at the stand. Of course, the stand itself looks kind of interesting with the Jedi temple floor over here. Of course, you can remove it and you have the standard Jedi underneath. So you have the Kit Fisto name over here. Going to have a look at the lightsaber and see a bit. Both of them, as you can see, are really similar in the way that they're done. Going to be removing this one over here. It is very funny that this one has a little hook over here and this one doesn't, and it must be the way where you would clip it in. So I don't understand why for they left it over there and not on this one. So of course these are the two little hooks that you have over here. And this is what comes into your lightsaber so that you can fix it on the hilt. Of course, I'm going to be showing you the little extra pegs for the hands in case you break them. These are not the most breakable ones. I think the female bodies are really the worst on that. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed about the figure. I must say I do like it. And the fact that I didn't open the sideshow, yeah, well, that does put it as a bit of an interesting take on it. Now, of course, there's also an explanation how to put the robe on, because that would seem a bit complicated. So yeah, you have to slide his arms in, and then so do you put the hair? So you should put the hair behind it. So yeah, this is a bit awkward, if we can say like that. Yeah, this is what I hate with this scotch tape lying around. I'm going to have to do it like this. Okay, sorry about that. This is why I hate having these pasted around like this. So as you can see, I will have to push his hands back, remove the hands, and then slide up the coat. And of course the coat does come over, and of course that means you cannot put this over his head, because otherwise this is going to look a bit weird. And I'm not sure that it's going to look, but the way they wanted it to do it is to pass it underneath over here, have the arms back, and I'm going to be gearing them up not on camera, because this is going to be a bit more complicated to do. So let me gear him up, and I'm going to put him for a spin, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts about this figure, and do I think this is a collectible item, and I will be giving you my note out of 10. So, quickly turned off all the lights in the studio before going into it. As you can see, the light is pretty powerful on the figure, and yeah, it does look pretty impressive. Now, the only nitpicking part I would talk about this is because the fact that if you are filming outside, you may not have. Okay, yeah, this one seems a little. Well, don't understand why there's two positions, because both seem to be as powerful. Let's bring back some light over here, and let's turn this off over here. So yeah, it's an interesting feature. I guess if you want to put the figures up like this, it can be something of interesting to be done. But yeah, personally, I find this a bit peculiar of doing it. I can understand if you keep it on the stand, but I still prefer the battery-operated version of it. It gives you more possibilities when you're outside and you want to do some poses. It gives you some better possibilities, or you will have to add the effect yourself at a later date. So yeah, interesting. Let's go to my final thoughts about this figure, and I will tell you also my note on this one. So let's go on to the end of this video, and let me tell you what I think about this figure, my final thoughts, and also do I believe this is a collectible item. So while it's giving a little spin, let's talk about the value of this figure. Do I believe this is a collectible item? And my answer is going to be very simple. The answer is yes. The reason why I'm saying this is because this figure is currently sold out on Sideshow's website. And that means that you have to join a waitlist where you do not know much about it. I did a video about the waitlist, what I think about it. But this is a big issue. So most of the people have sold this figure out. So the prices for this figure are going to go up. And I do not see Hot Toys coming out with a 2.0 of this figure. It would not make sense of doing it. They're not going to milk it like an Anakin Skywalker or an Obi-Wan Kenobi, or maybe a Mace Windu, who are more permanent characters. This is more of a side character, and if you're a fan of the Clone Wars like I am, you would enjoy these characters and these Jedi generals. So yeah, this is why I do believe that this figure is going to have a certain value in the future. And as I said, I do not believe Hot Toys is planning to make this one anytime soon as a 2.0. Now, my final thoughts about this figure. Now let's start by the less positive aspects of this figure. So the first one that I do have is, of course, these tentacles do not move, they're fixed. and they're very rigid. The fact that the manual tells you that you may have a problem with moving it and there seems to be a certain fragility to it, that does make me a bit worried about it. I think it's nice to have the two front ones moving, but if you cannot give any dynamic pose or not give a bit more angle to it, that does put it as a bit problematic. The other part that I do find, the figure is a bit expensive, $275 plus the $15 of surtax for the tariff, does put it as a bit more expensive. So yeah, that's the two negative points that I would have about this figure. And like I said, for the price, you don't get much, but that is also a bit the problem with the figure. There's not much more that Hot Toys could have given. Maybe a few extra pair of hands maybe would have made sense, but afterwards that's been a bit nitpicky. And also the fact of the USB, it's the first figure that I see with it. I'm looking at it, the system does look a bit fragile. So I don't think you want to be pulling in and out the plug over there without causing a risk of damage to the lightsaber or to the box itself. So yeah, that's something. And for me, who likes taking pictures outside, well, that's a big no-no for me, because this puts it as a bit problematic. But again, that's only me. And I guess most of, let's say the 99% of the collectors will have it displayed on the shelf like the other figures. So yeah, having the USB system, and you can turn on all the lightsabers and take some cool pictures, or have some people look at your collection with the lightsabers on. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. And like I said, there's also the other part that I didn't really like about it, was the fact of having two positions. And as you can see in the video, they don't seem to be much different. So I don't understand why there's two of them. So that's a bit of a shame. So now you can also tell me, I would like to be hearing you about the figure. Do you think it's a good figure? Do you like it? Do you agree with what I'm saying also? Do you think that my points are valid? And I would like to start a conversation. Tell me if you have the USB system. Did you have any failures on them right to now? Also, did you get this guy, or are you planning to get this guy? So let me know in the comment section, because I would be interested to start a conversation with you guys about it. Now, going into the positive points about the figure. I mean, Hot Toys nailed the look on this figure. The fact of giving him the Clone War gauntlets and the hands with this is a win for me. I only picked it up because of that. Otherwise, I would have gone on to my Sideshow version, who's a lot less good looking and came out nearly 20 years ago. So yeah, this figure does give me everything that I want. I'm a huge fan of Clone Wars, so that does put it as a bit in perspective. Maybe biased about it, but I really love what Hot Toys did with this figure. The detail, the heaviness to the figure, the good articulation on the figure also makes it really interesting. I really do love this figure and cannot wait to go and take some pictures, have a bunch of shiny clone troopers and some veteran clone troopers that I will be doing a review about, that I'm going to add with this guy. I'm going to put him with General Skywalker. So yeah, there's plenty of little pictures and cool scenes that I'm planning to do with it. So you can go and check that out on Facebook, on Instagram. The links will be in the description for it. So now that I've given you the positive and the negative about this figure, I'm going to be giving you my final note on this figure. And for the reasons of the price cost, the fact of the tentacles not moving in the back to give him a more dynamic pose, I'm going to be giving this figure a 8 out of 10. So tell me if you agree with that, and if you do or not, leave it in the comment section and we can start a conversation. So that's going to be it for my review of Kit Fisto from Hot Toys from episode 3. If you like this kind of reviews, please leave a like, share, comment in the section. If you want to go and see more news and other stuff, you have the link at the end of this video to go and see some more. Go and check out my Facebook page, Instagram page. There's plenty of cool stuff also over there to go and see, stuff for sale, and plenty of pictures that I've taken outside for Star Wars, G.I. Joe. So go and check it out, give it a thumbs up, and let me know if you like those pictures. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!